You ever walk into a room and just feel somebody? They didn't need to talk loud, didn't wave their hands, didn't flash money or chase eyes, but somehow their energy hit you like a gust of wind. Like gravity, you felt them before they even said a word. That's presence, that's power without performance. And in a world addicted to noise, chaos, and clout, presence is the rarest currency. People don't know how to read it, so they fear it. They can't explain it, so they respect it. Because presence doesn't beg for attention like it commands it. You've been doing the work, getting up when you didn't want to, training when nobody's watching, saying no to the things that used to have a grip on you. You've been staying low, staying quiet, building in the shadows. And maybe you're wondering, why does it still feel like nobody sees the progress? It's not because they don't see it, it's because they feel it and they don't know how to respond. You're becoming a frequency they can't tune into. They feel the shift, the weight of who you're becoming, but they can't understand it, so they ignore it until they can't anymore. That's the power of presence. It's not the words you speak, it's the silence you keep. It's not in the outfit, it's in the energy. Presence is built in private, grown in discomfort, forged in discipline. It's when your body becomes aligned with your beliefs, when your eyes say more than your lips ever could, when you walk with purpose, not to impress, but because every step is chosen. That kind of energy, that's earned. Presence doesn't come from ego, it comes from alignment. Alignment between your habits, your thoughts, and your spirit. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, not for claps, but because your word is law to you. Every early morning, every rep, every disciplined choice builds a current inside you, and eventually that current becomes so strong, it starts flowing out of you through your posture, your tone, your stillness. Stillness isn't weakness. Stillness is the storm before the strike. The man who can sit in a room, breathe deep, and not rush to speak, that's a man who's mastered his nervous system. And when your nervous system is calm, your presence is disruptive. Because everyone else is chasing stimulation. They need the world to validate them. But you've built your validation internally. You don't need applause. You already know your value. You don't need to prove your worth. It radiates from how you carry yourself. That's what makes presence magnetic. People don't know why they're drawn to you. They just are. Your silence says, I'm not here for approval. Your energy says, I've already arrived. Your movement says, I'm in control. Even your pauses are powerful because they're intentional. When you lock in on your breath, your body, your mind, you become a mirror. People reflect off you. Some get curious, some get intimidated, some feel exposed, but none of them forget you. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to say a word because presence speaks in vibration, in calm, in groundedness, in mastery. You ever see a man fix his posture mid-conversation? Not because he's insecure, but because he's realigning his power. You ever see someone walk into a room slowly, eyes scanning, energy unshaken because they're not looking for permission, they're reclaiming space? That's the presence of a man who's done the inner work. He's not rushed, not flustered, not triggered, because he knows nothing outside of him is more important than what's going on inside. That's spiritual power, and it changes everything. Presence is how you enter rooms, how you start conversations, how you make people feel seen without trying. It's in the space between your words, in the stillness between your movements, in the patience of your response. It's the subtle dominance that says, I don't need to prove I'm powerful because I know I am. Presence is what makes people ask, who is that? Not because of what you're doing, but because of how you're being. You're not trying to fit in, you're not chasing energy, you are the energy. And then when you realize that, everything changes. You stop forcing connections, you stop explaining your growth, you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You walk, talk, and move like the version of yourself you said you'd become. And eventually the world adjusts to your energy. Presence is spiritual wealth, and you've been stacking it daily, in silence, in sweat, in solitude. That's why your aura is heavier. That's why they treat you different now. That's why some people can't look you in the eyes anymore, because your presence reflects what they haven't faced yet in themselves. You've outgrown the noise, you've mastered your stillness. You've become the calm before the impact. You don't just enter rooms now, you shift the temperature. People talk slower around you, they stand straighter, they stutter more, they respect what they don't understand, and right now they don't understand you. That's the sign you're evolving. You've become unpredictable, still but unreadable, silent but intense, detached but aware. And that energy, it's heavy, it's rare, it's divine. It makes people nervous, it makes them reflect, it makes them want to raise their standards or leave the room, because presence forces people to face what they've been avoiding. So if you feel more alone lately, if the conversations feel empty, if your spirit feels like it's vibrating on a different frequency, good. That's presence growing. You're not here to blend in. You're here to shake the room with nothing but your stillness. Because real power is silent, and you've been silent long enough. Now it's time to let your presence speak louder than any words ever could. If you're building presence from the inside out, if your silence is about to shake the world, then subscribe, tap in. This is the Diamond Keez Empire, and we don't make noise, we move mountains quietly.